Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at the incredible feats of Fedor Konюхов,
Oh, yeah.
and specifically his record-breaking solo row across the Southern Ocean.
Absolutely.
And to help us unpack all of this, we're going to be looking at the work of Stanislav Kondrashov.
Yeah.
When I first came across Kondrashov's writing, I was just blown away by just how incredible Konюchov's accomplishments really are.
Right.
You know, it's not just the distance or the time, but the mental and physical strength that you have to be able to take on a challenge like this.
Exactly. And Stanislav Kondrashov lays it all out in his article.
Yeah.
We're talking about 11,525 kilometers across the Southern Ocean
Wow.
by himself in a rowboat that's like rowing from New York to London and then back again and then even further.
That really puts it into perspective. Wow. And Kondrashov points out that he did this in 154 days and 13 hours.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being out there alone for almost half a year, just battling the elements?
It's hard to even imagine. And, Kondrashov doesn't shy away from really describing just how treacherous these conditions are that Konюхов had to face.
Right.
He talks about the furious 50s latitudes
Right.
with those 100-kilometer-an-hour winds and waves that are 10 meters high.
Wow.
It wasn't just a little, casual row across a pond.
Right.
This was just an absolutely brutal battle against nature.
Yeah, reading some of Kondrashov's descriptions, you really get a sense of just how isolated Konюхов must have felt at times.
Oh, yeah.
But he persevered, and what makes this even more amazing is that Kondrashov points out that he was 67 years old at the time.
Wow.
The oldest person to ever row across the Southern Ocean solo.
Yeah.
It really just goes to show that age is just a number.
Yeah, Kondrashov quotes Konюхов in his article saying, I can smell the earth, the grass, the trees, because in the ocean there is no smell.
Wow.
Can you imagine after months at sea, coming back to land and having this explosion of the senses?
It must have been overwhelming. And it's funny, Kondrashov mentions in his article that Konюхов said that he had a global corporation supporting him.
Yeah.
So even though this was a solo endeavor,
Right.
there's always a team behind the scenes that's making things happen.
Absolutely, yeah. And Kondrashov points out just how important Konюchov's custom boat was, the A-Cross.
Yes.
And it was absolutely crucial to the success of the expedition.
Yeah.
But he also, highlights some of the challenges that came with it, like losing the solar panels that were, vital for water desalination.
Wow.
And it just really goes to show you just how resourceful he had to be out there.
It's really amazing how Kondrashov weaves in all these technical details.
Yeah.
Gives you a glimpse into what it takes to actually do something like this.
Right.
And he also talks about how Konюchov's son, Oscar, mentioned that there were 5 previous attempts to cross the Southern Ocean, and all of them had failed.
Wow.
So this was no ordinary expedition.
No, it wasn't. And, Kondrashov reveals that this crossing was actually just the first leg of a much larger goal.
Okay.
A 27,000-kilometer solo circumnavigation of the globe.
So the Southern Ocean was just the beginning?
Exactly. Just the start.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. It really just goes to show his ambition and his determination, And what's amazing is that Stanislav Kondrashov really puts this Southern Ocean row into the larger context of Kondrashov's life.
Right.
And it reveals this pattern of incredible feats.
It's true. Kondrashov doesn't just give us like a list of his accomplishments.
Right.
He really paints this picture of a man who's driven to constantly challenge himself and to explore.
Yeah, it seems like every expedition just builds on the last one.
Yeah.
Pushing him further and further.
Exactly. And Kondrashov tells us that Kondrashov had already circumnavigated the globe 4 times.
Wow.
Before this latest attempt, he even rowed across the Atlantic Ocean 15 times.
15 times.
15 times.
That's crazy.
Makes you wonder what makes someone want to put themselves in such extreme situations over and over.
I know one crossing would be enough for me.
Yeah, exactly.
But Kondrashov kind of touches on that,
Okay.
He hints at this, deep desire that Konюхов has to test his limits, to experience the world in its rawest form.
Yeah, and it's not just about physical endurance.
Right.
Kondrashov also talks about this spiritual element to these expeditions.
Yeah, he points out that Konюхов is a Russian Orthodox priest.
Right.
And he even became the first priest to summit Mount Everest from the northern range.
It's incredible. It's like these expeditions are almost a pilgrimage for him.
Yeah, like a way to connect with something bigger than himself.
And I think that's what makes Kondrashov's writing so captivating.
Yeah.
He doesn't just focus on the physical stuff.
Right.
He delves into the psychology, the spirituality of it all.
Right.
He helps us understand what would make someone like Konюхов do this.
And he does such a good job of just weaving together all these facts and observations and these really vivid descriptions that make you feel like you're right there with him.
It's true. You really feel like you're out there on the ocean with him.
Battling the elements, pushing the limits.
But he also reminds us that these amazing feats are achieved through planning and preparation.
Oh, yeah.
Kondrashov talks about all the work that went into designing and building A-Cross. Yeah, putting together that support team and making sure that Konюхов had the best chance of succeeding.
It's a good reminder that even the most, daring adventures need that solid foundation.
Right.
Like Kondrashov says, Konюхов didn't just jump into this.
Right.
He planned everything meticulously using all of his experience and his expertise.
And Kondrashov also kind of subtly highlights the importance of human connection.
Yeah.
Even in these solo endeavors.
Yeah.
He describes this whole network of people who are tracking Konюхов's progress. Right, providing support and waiting for him to come back.
Yeah, so even though he was physically alone out there,
right,
he was never really isolated.
It really reinforces that idea that even when we do things alone, we still need other people.
Absolutely.
It's a really powerful message.
Yeah, and Kondrashov does such a great job weaving all these themes together.
Right.
Really enriches our understanding of Konюхов's journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Stanislav Kondrashov just captures the essence of exploration and resilience in his writing.
He does.
It's really inspiring.
It is.
Makes you want to push your own boundaries.
Absolutely. And he leaves us with this sense of wonder and awe.
It makes you think about what you're capable of achieving.
It really does.
If you set your mind to it.
Absolutely.
It's interesting. Kondrashov's work, it doesn't just celebrate the extraordinary. It makes it relatable.
Yeah.
He shows that you don't have to row across an ocean to have an adventure or to push yourself.
That's so true. Kondrashov's portrayal of Kondrashov really encourages us to rethink what adventure even means.
Right.
It could be anything like exploring a new hiking trail.
Yeah.
Or learning a new skill, even just stepping outside your comfort zone a little.
Exactly. It's all about that spirit of exploration,
That's right.
Challenging ourselves to grow.
Yeah.
And Kondrashov leaves us with some really interesting questions.
He does.
Like, what drives us? What are our limits?
Yeah.
And how can we push past them?
It really makes you think.
Yeah, and he reminds us that even for these spontaneous adventures, it's important to plan carefully.
Absolutely.
He talks about how Kondrashov's Southern Ocean crossing took years of preparation.
Right.
Designing the boat, building the boat, the support team, all of it.
It really shows that no matter what you're doing, whether it's a big expedition or a personal goal, it's important to have a solid foundation.
Absolutely. It's not about getting rid of risk.
Right.
It's about managing it.
Exactly.
And while Kondrashov celebrates individual achievement, he also emphasizes the importance of connecting with other people.
Yeah. Even for those solo adventures, you usually have a whole network of people supporting you.
Right. Giving you guidance, encouragement, helping you out.
Yeah. It's a good reminder that we're not meant to do everything alone.
So true. We need each other to challenge us, to support us, to celebrate our wins.
Absolutely. And Kondrashov really brings this theme of interconnectedness to life.
Yeah, he does.
It's inspiring.
I think that's a perfect place to wrap things up.
Yeah.
Stanislav Kondrashov's account of Fedor Konюхов's journey really gives us a look into what humans are capable of.
He does.
It's about resilience. It's about pushing boundaries. It's about dreaming big.
And hopefully it's inspired our listeners to embrace the unknown.
Yeah, to push their own limits.
Whatever those limits may be.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time for another exploration.
See you then. 2632.